everybody. So today I wanted to do another video for my Fire Radio channel. I just did another video on E-Man Dude Guy person, but I want to do something more philosophical again, so I could make sure I keep my brain alive, so I don't just have, the normal breeder brain atrophy is what it really is. It's like, well, I gave up on thinking. I mean, that's basically what the breeders do. So I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to keep talking shit to them because they deserve to be shit talked for making the worst decision you could possibly make. Okay, the topic today is pessimism versus optimism. Now, I find this topic kind of strange for me, like my whole life, because there'll be times when I try to be optimistic and I just can't, and I'm like really depressed or whatever, or like if I'm too. Or like I try to be pessimistic about something that I know is going to go bad, and then, but I'm too optimistic in the short term, or So there's a lot of weird stuff like that. But mainly, it's weird trying to get a balance for the two because. For me, sometimes, especially when I'm like not feeling good, a lot of things are just black and white. So it's hard to find a middle ground for that kind of thing. But basically, I was talking to Child Free Diane about this. Actually, you guys should check her channel out if you haven't already. Child Free Diane on YouTube. But basically, we were talking about there's like this book that she was reading about. Like these quotes about the children and the magic of life and all that crap. And she had rebuttals to every little quote. But one of the quotes was like from Pope St. Francis. And he was like, where there is war, give us peace. Where there is whatever, where there's a bad thing, give us the opposite. So basically, the idea that I got from it was like, I'll see if I can find the quote for you so I can put it in the comments or whatever. But it's like, the whole idea is to just, if there's bad things going on, give me the power to ignore them, God, because I can't deal with it. So, if everything is bad, even if everything is bad, just let me ignore it. And just the way she responded was, that both pessimism and optimism are delusional. And I mean, I think in our lives we're never really one or the other. I think that's kind of interesting point that she strikes there. Is like we're not ever really totally pessimistic or totally optimistic. And so, a lot of it is also just delusion of our own mind. It really, most of our thoughts are just kind of delusions. They're just like, oh, well, I think this is important and that's important in the 7 billion people world. Yeah, I think this, I think this opinion matters in this grand scheme of this earth or whatever, which we all wish were true. And to an extent, for some people, it is true that the opinions do matter, and they could affect the entire world. Like, let's say with like Mahatma Gandhi or Malcolm X or something like that. Like, their ideas influenced a lot of people across the world. So there's that. But, I find it very, very hard to be optimistic about anything at this point because, at least in this country that I live in now, I've been trying for a long time to move to, or well, I've wanted for a long time to move to Canada, but I just have to. There's like a lot of things I have to do first before I can actually be able to do it. So it's a bit of a process, but um, and right now it's early on in the process. But anyways, in America, things are going pretty fucked up. You know, our presidential election, we're voting for basically the two most vile pieces of shit in America, essentially. Um, and it's like, oh great. So there's my picks. There's the presidents. Now I've gotten actually a lot of flack for this, but I'm gonna vote for Hillary Clinton just so we don't get Trump, because I think Trump will probably just try to fucking end any peace with any other countries that we could have had. Like, he's gonna try to bomb Russia and shit, and he's gonna start like some fucking crazy ass war again, like another war. And I wouldn't be surprised if he just seriously does a Holocaust on the fucking immigrants and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Um, so yeah, that shit's kind of irritating with that. And then also around where I am, there's constant expansion. I talked about this in my other videos, but they're building stuff all the time, just trying to compensate for the greedy excess, the vile gluttony. I mean, it's just gluttony. It's God, man. It's just like these people's minds are just like putrefied, like the breeders. So they just can't even fucking bring together a fucking competent fucking thought. They never thought in their lives about anything that they fucking did. So, you know, why think about having kids? Why think about contributing to the pain machine that basically is what's keeping us all enslaved? I don't know if I said this before, but Andy Warhol once said that being born is like being kidnapped and sold into slavery. And I agree with that. I mean, what is having a fucking conscience other than to suffer? Like, what do you do most of the time other than you think about the shit that you want, you think about the shit that you want, you think about the shit that you can't get and you want anyways, and the shit down the road that you don't even have control over, you know, or and the shit that you do have if you're like really, if you're one of the more egotistical types, you know. Or, I mean, you can still think about the thing that you have and, you know, still not be egotistical. It all comes down, I really think that the egotistical line stops at, like, you can have as much shit as you want, I guess, as long as this doesn't have, like, as long as I would say, as long as it's not like cars or like things with animal products. Like that's a pretty goddamn liberal interpretation there. Honestly, like most people, they'd say, you know, you shouldn't have this and you shouldn't have that. But I'm just saying, let's not pollute the environment anymore, or let's not encourage that. But anyways, no. But you can collect all types of shit, and you know, you can do all these things and get your enjoyment of it, like from hobbies and stuff, really. But I guess the difference between the people that enjoy their hobbies and the egotistical people is the egotistical people want somebody else to exist so they can feel the need to get a hobby, or feel like or, you know, have that life where they can't even get a hobby because they're just so like fucking fed up with everything or something. I've seen people like that where they can't even do anything because they're just like so, you know, whatever, upset or anxious or something like that. But you know, so we should be able to enjoy our lives, but I think that the line stops at, you know, putting another person on this planet. I mean, really, like putting another person on this planet. And you know, I really think, like, I appreciate now that there's a lot more vegetarian type people, but there needs to be like a vegan not uprising, but like a I think that there was like in a Mistro hip hop video, he said like, or he had a shirt that was like vegan uh, militia or some crap like that, but it was literally just like, the idea that we should promote a veganism, because we're basically, if we promote veganism, that's promoting the reduction of harm. Kind of a Buddhist idea, I suppose. So it is a bit religious in terms of it came from religious people. Some of these ideas, or came from the like the Gita. I forget the Hare Krishna book, like the Gita. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there about don't be a doer and don't participate in the actions of humans because they are, not important, basically. And so you have stuff like that out there. But that's not to my point. My point is that, really the most important thing we can do is just realize that our actions impose suffering on others. And I think once you've gotten to that point, there's no need to keep bashing ourselves about it. I think there's just, what we can do is actually do the things that can change it, instead of pretending like the determinists do, that we have no control over it. So if I fuck up because of my own choices, then I can just blame it on destiny, which really pisses me off. I can't believe how common it is that people think that. Even atheists, it's like a religion. Like, oh, we can't do anything because I don't want to have to do anything. I mean, it really is what it comes down to. There's your determinism, but no, we do have control over our actions, right? So that's why I'm upset at the people that aren't child free, because everybody, all the determinists, they want to say, well, they didn't have a choice. Destiny told them they must do so, and it's like, how different is that from being a natalist? How different is that from just being like, every life is a gift? I mean, that's the same shit, basically. But no, I think that about wraps it up for this video. I just wanted to touch on the topic, pessimism versus optimism. What's reasonable to have, what's not. I mean, this is all, this is my opinion. But yeah, I just think that we should have a reasonable amount of pessimism, but not to the point where it disables us. I mean, obviously we're not going to be able to always control that, so I'm not criticizing anybody for that, but we should have pessimism to the point where we're still able to function, right? But we see what's going on around us. So it is important to have some optimism, at least in whatever it is that your mind is connected with over the years. Like, I'm not trying to be spiritual or whatever, but shit that you have been around, things that you have experienced. I mean, it's not hard to just think back into your past and just be like, what did I like to do before, or ever, or did I enjoy one time? I mean, it's like, you can try all those things, and you can just there's a lot of ways you can pick things out, and so it might be really, really hard to have any sort of optimism for especially a lot of my viewers, I know, but I would say just try as hard as you can to list out some things like every day. Like, you don't have to list out like a certain amount if you don't want to, but I was doing this for a while, and I've been basically having a transition period from being on no psych medication to now being on a small dose of a it's not a psychotic, it's like not an antipsychotic, but a antidepressant, Tofranil. But anyways, that shit is during that time, usually starting one of the medications, you'll have a bit of a rough time, and so what I did to get myself by was I tried to rest my mind, and I try to also write a list every day of things that I was grateful for. And it's important to have a little bit of gratefulness, just enough to get you by, like you don't have to be like, oh yes, it's everything's phantasmalistic and we're gonna have a big party today, and let's all just ignore the suffering. No, it's not about that. It's like get it, just have enough of the optimism, the happiness in your mind to be able to keep you going, to be able to energize you, because it does energize you. Feeling happy, feeling good does give you energy. It does. I mean, it does help you feel motivated, basically. So I would say to everybody watching this video, do try to do something that makes you feel motivated. Even if it's not like work related or something like that, or just something that you do in your off time that'll make you feel like a little bit better. Like, oh, I want to do this tomorrow, or I might want to do some more of this, on the weekend or something. Then that's a good thing. So just consider that, and also consider that there's other people around you that they feel the same way, right? So they'll be able to talk to you in some cases, So there's people that are there out there that are that do feel the same way. So it's important to just consider all of those things. I mean, but obviously, some people, they fall out as a result of that. They fall out of anti-natalism or child-free, or they have a falling out with the community, basically, which is a lie. They just I decided to stop giving a fuck about thinking. So that's another extreme that we don't need to be going to. But yeah, that's really all I got to say. So, anyways, have a good, awesome day, everybody, and awesome weekend, and yeah, peace out.